That would lead us to a motion to move into public session. It is recommended that the governing board move into a public session to vote on the topics discussed during the executive session.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion about the discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes 5-0. All right, so
Microphones now, Grant, you're
Yes,
recommending?
our first item moving into public session would be possible action regarding the award of RFP 26-01-27 to a superintendent search firm candidate. It is recommended that the Sierra Vista Unified School District Governing Board approve the award of RFP 26-01-27 to one of the vendors discussed in executive session. This award is valid through June 30th, 2026.
I'll start with making a motion that we accept the proposal from Ray Associates in association with CISO.
So we have a motion on the floor for Ray and Associates. Right, and so at this time I do not have a second. We cannot move forward and we cannot move into discussion, so
Okay, I'll make the second motion that we accept McPherson and Jacobson as the awardee.
okay. So we have the motion for McPherson, Jacob, and I guess we're waiting a second. Right, so
May I make a motion to table this item for future consideration?
And I'll second that, if that needs a second.
I have a motion and a second to table this item regarding an RFP 26-01-27. Is there any discussion? Now it's open up for discussion. We could talk about it.
Of why we tabled it?
I guess you can talk about it, what, I guess, reasoning for tabling it, and
Holly, you brought up a point I'm trying to, no, I can't say that.
Well, I don't know. I don't think you can refer to what we discussed in executive session.
You can
Oh,
talk
okay, I
about
don't know.
things that are of public nature.
Okay.
So you can't bring up anything proprietary, can't bring up anything related to employee performance, nothing like that. So depending on what the question is, you could.
And no discussion of Ms. Roma.
That's the
Of her
next,
performance.
but that's a separate item.
yes, that
Correct.
would be the next item. I guess, so I'll try to navigate this as best as possible. So I kind of getting maybe, Holly, why you want to table it for now. We're still have some concerns as far as that, maybe whether it's the best option for us right now. We're kind of maybe missing some information, some more information maybe with the interim superintendent that's kind of lacking to kind of really solidify a direction.
And maybe the process, a little more information on the process
Okay.
of selection.
And then to table so that whatever we decide moving forward, we have the option to come back to it under the existing RFP and not have to do this whole thing again.
Yes. just starting and we still need some more information, some more investigation. So, alright. If there's no other discussion or questions about that, we will vote on this. So, all those in favor to table this for now, say aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Opposed, nay. Alright, so passes 4-1 at this time, we'll table that. Alright, so next item on our agenda would be possible action regarding the appointment of interim superintendent Terry Romo to the superintendent position. It is recommended that the governing board discuss and take action regarding the possible appointment of the current interim superintendent Terry Romo as superintendent.
So since we tabled the first one, then this is tied to the first one for all intents and purposes. It would be a table also.
Is that your motion?
Yeah, that would be my motion, that we table this until we decide on what we wanna do with the RFPs.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
So the motion says, possible action regarding, so that doesn't mean that we are saying we're gonna put her in that position, right?
Right.
So it's just saying that it's a possibility. So I would,
Correct, because even if the board voted to appoint Terry, like, let's say you guys 5-0 were appointing Terry can still decline.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So it's a possible appointment. Let's say that tonight you guys voted to appoint her, we would then have to do like we did previously when we were looking at the interim superintendent, where you guys have an executive session including Terry, including our attorney, so you guys can discuss what you would want to see in a permanent, or not permanent, but a 3-year contract, if Terry had any changes to terms, things like that. So it's possible action because there's further steps that must be taken.
Yeah, I was concerned about the wording of appointing a superintendent, we're done, I'm not comfortable with that at this point. I would be comfortable with exploring, that option, doing whatever we need to as a board to look into this more,
In depth.
yeah, and assuming a majority of us want to do so. That's kind of
Right. And it's not a either or, either you have to do this or you have to do that.
And I would go back a step and say, if you all do not wanna do RFPs, then we should vote to not do them. You know, I propose that we do, but if somebody wants to make a motion, say, let's not do RFPs, that takes care of that instead of tabling it.
By tabling it, as Mrs. Sheriff shared, it allows the opportunity to come back. Like, let's say you guys want to come back in November off of this same RFP with these same 3 options.
Yeah.
It allows for that. Whereas if you vote to not do an RFP, period,
It's off the
it's off the table. And let's say you guys voted that and then voted to go forward with Mrs. Romo,
Yeah,
and then Mrs. Romo declined,
correct.
we would then have to restart the RFP process, whereas this kind of allows a smoother, just transition right back in.
Right, so we potentially, we do some investigation, get some answers. We can come back with the same 2 items on the agenda and pick up where we left off. We can. So, any other?
I guess my only thought is, now is the time that we can sort of express where we're at or where we're leaning. Because again, if I might be leaning one way, but if 3 of you are leaning another way, it's like we need to be able to navigate this as a group, because there's no point in, me going with what I think if a majority isn't on board, because it's just not gonna go anywhere. So I guess I just wanted to, encourage everyone to, I mean, I understand we may not, know for sure what we want to do, but if we can at least share where we're leaning, I think that will help particularly our president sort of decide what to do next, what actions to take, what, you know?
Right, and since we're in session, now's kind of the time to put that out there and discuss it, where once we go out of session, we're kind of like restricted again about what we can say. I will, I guess I'll throw out there that one of kind of my requirements would be for myself to request a meeting with Ms. Romo and to kind of, you could say, interview or hit some of those topics that I'm concerned about, you know, that yes, she has been here and those kind of things. What's her commitment, kind of pulling some of those things out before I'm ready to just say, you know, either put her in that position full term or not. So that is kind of how I'm feeling. I'm on the fence, and like I said, if money wasn't an issue, definitely yes, go. Let's see what we can get.
I suspect they've already budgeted for the money, but I will always be pushing for an RFP because I believe you need to have some options on the table. And I totally support Ms. Romo. I think she's doing a good job. I've already said that. I think though that from the districts and from the community, you want to have at least some options to look at some different things. And there may be some talent out there that would help us, because we do have some issues that we have to resolve, and we've got some tough ones coming up. Tough ones to make decisions on in terms of where we're going, what we're doing, what schools, if we have to close more, how do we consolidate, how do we do it. I think those are all things that, you know, an outside point of view might be looking at it from a different perspective. I like the way she's approaching it right now. I think that those decisions that she's recommending are moving us in the right direction, but I don't think that we should throw out the option of getting another, you know, some other talent at least to take a look at. You don't have to ever accept them, and I think it's money well spent to try to find somebody who might be able to help us, you know, that has a different perspective. That's why I'm saying it. So that's where I stand.
Any other?
I'll give my way. I think Ms. Romo has she has demonstrated all those leadership qualities and outcomes that we're looking for in a superintendent, and she has expressed so many times how she loved this community and how she stepped up to this position because of her love for the community and the school district. So, and no, and I mean, it's hard because we are in a financial position right now. And it's just like, you know, that's my duty as a governing board member to make sure the budget is balanced, the money is balanced, and we're not doing unnecessary spending.
Brian, can you bring in some financial data to show that where this money is coming from, if it's programmed and planned, et cetera, so we kind of know what impact it has on the budget?
Specifically for the RFP?
Yes.
It hasn't been budgeted at all. We would have to find a funding source for it, but it's not impossible to do. As you are all aware, our financial situation for the district isn't in a comfortable place. You saw in the AFR that came out, and you will be seeing on the revised budget that's coming out in the next few months that there were negatives that have to be addressed, and that we are actively, negative in the year, and things have to be balanced. Just since June alone, June 30th, when school year ended, we're down already almost 300 enrollment. So I cannot say yes, currently we have everything budgeted for the RFP, we have it set aside and ready no matter which option you make. Whatever choice the board made as to an RFP, we have as a district, a requirement to find that money to complete that task, and so we will. But I can't come forward and say right now, yes, we have it all set aside and ready. But we could.
I'll just share where I'm leaning, and I agree with Donald, like, in a different circumstance, I'm 100% on board with a full search. Having been involved in a prior search, I think this like perfect candidate honestly doesn't exist, and if they do, I don't know that they would apply for and accept the position at the pay we're able to offer. I think that's a real long shot. And I would love to have the discussion with Ms. Romo if she knows whether or not she would apply if we did that, because that would make a difference for me. But also, anyone we get is not going to be from here. Not going to be from Sierra Vista, committed to Sierra Vista, have the institutional knowledge of the organization and the people in the organization. I feel like we're at a very sensitive, difficult time. We are asking, we're asking families to move their students. We're potentially laying off staff. And we're gonna be asking our leadership to have those conversations. I'm leaning towards not only the qualifications that Ms. Romo brings, but her deep knowledge and commitment of our district and this area as possibly being the right person to guide us through at least the next few years. I feel like it would provide some stability, and like people know what to expect.
Yeah.
And they know there's not going to be big dramatic changes and all of a sudden we're doing all this new teaching stuff and whatever, which not that that's exactly, maybe just not right now. And we do know that Ms. Romo is very committed to improving test scores and working on all of that stuff, but we have this other ball in the air that if we don't handle that right, it's going to hurt our ability to do all the other things that I think we all know we need to do and we want to do, and we want to make those improvements. So that's where I'm leaning.
I'm leaning very heavily on what you just said, and especially what Kim said, because I see the qualifications and the commitment and the dedication of someone that I think is very committed. That's what I can say.
And I guess it kind of occurred to me, if you're looking at the decision to spend, let's say, $35,000 that we have to come up with, that's potentially a position we're going to have to cut.
That's
A salary.
I was thinking.
So,
That's true.
I mean, those are, and I appreciate all of us bringing these together. I really like the discussion and bringing up all of these point of views to flush this out, and I'm glad we're not just making a quick decision and walking away and being like, whatever happens, happens. So it's like Holly said, it's one of the most important decisions we as a board make.
And so, do I understand then we're tabling this?
We're tabling both items, so
Okay.
we're not making any decisions. We still have to vote on it. We haven't voted.
Okay,
I'm
but
sure
do
Brand's.
we agree that we are still gonna interview Ms. Romo to find out in depth more where she's coming from? Didn't we feel we needed more input from her?
I was going to share, just based off of what I'm hearing from the board's conversation, I did leave information discussion and request for future items on this agenda. It's not normally what we do during a special meeting, but I just, you know, I had a feeling that this may be an outcome. So I was gonna ask the board, well, we still have the pending motion, but I was gonna ask the request for future agenda items if another executive session involving meeting, the five of you meeting with Mrs. Romo specifically to go over, you know, as you mentioned, you know, exact qualifications, possible concerns, in how long she may be willing to sign on for, things like that. That is an executive session that we can get scheduled, and that'll also answer another question of whether there is an interest from Mrs. Romo in actually taking on this position.
And maybe this comes later, I don't know, I get lost in all of this sometimes, but perhaps depending on how the vote goes on tabling the item and assuming if there will be steps to take, whatever those are, that we like if we have specific questions, maybe we could all as a board, whether we direct those to you or to Mr. Lee, like, you know, because you can start sorting through, like, these are some of the questions we'd like to ask, you know, in preparation for this executive session, just to kind of help, I don't know.
I do think that would be beneficial, because if, let's say one of your questions there are, you know, what is your exact educational background, what degrees do you hold, all that. That's not something that, if that was brought to me at a meeting, I don't have that on hand, I could verbally tell you, but it might be beneficial, like, well, this is exactly my qualifications.
So just to clarify, then we can have an executive session with Ms. Romo, and she would come in and he would have a list of the questions and she would answer those, or Mr. Lee and Ms. Romo would sit down and they would go through all the questions, and then in the executive session he would brief us.
I would suggest that it be an executive session including all of you.
Yeah, I mean, so
Okay.
we could at least get the majority of our questions, so we could get them to her, so that if there's educational stuff, if there's stuff that she may not be able to answer on the spot, that she has prepared for that, so we don't take another meeting and have to have another meeting to, so that would be just trying to get kind of our main questions, big questions that we have concerns about, so that she's prepared to answer those.
And then anything else that comes up, but I just think it's always nice to sort of get those in advance if at all possible, and we can filter that through Mr. Lee or
Either Mr. Lee or myself, either way is fine. Or both. A lot of times if a singular board member has a question, they send to me, they do copy Mr. Lee as well. That is fine too.
Yeah.
Because I'm always wanting to compile things for the board, so.
Appreciate that very much. All right, any other, so we have the item of Ms. Romo and the position of superintendent, so we have a motion to the table and a second. Is there any other discussion on this specific matter before we take a vote? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes 5-0. So now we'll move into general information and discussion items. Does anybody have any? All right, not hearing any. That would be, as Fran spoke of, any request for future agenda items.
I would request that Mr. Lee work with Bran and Ms. Romo to set up an executive session and whatever other potential meetings you see fit, but definitely an executive session with the board and Ms. Romo.
My question to the board is, would you like that to be an executive session? Would you like that to be another special meeting where you could then come out of executive session? Let's say Mrs. Romo mediates all of your concerns, you come out of the meeting with a desire to vote at that time. Would you like to do another special meeting instead of just pure executive session? Would you like to have the attorney there in case you guys want to discuss terms and things like that?
Would you be able to discuss with the attorney if there's
we can. I have done that homework already, for you guys, just in case. The attorney has shared that the board can vote at any time to appoint whoever they want. And it's not an RFP, there's no interview required. It is just a board decision. Similar to the interim superintendent process where it was just, we asked for letters of interest with background. It's that same requirement, it is just a majority decision of the board. And they have to have a IEP card.
And even still, we could, as we move forward, if we wanted to do some further things before making a decision, we could have a public meeting, we could do a background check, we could do it, like, I'm just saying that we could.
Yes.
We can do as little as just pick someone and put them in, or create our own, steps.
Correct.
To move forward.
So, should I reach out to Denise? Should I, should it be a special meeting or should it be an executive session?
Right, so like Brianna's talking, if we do just an executive session, that's all we can do.
Right,
We
it'll be
can
one more meeting.
Go into executive session, we come out of executive session, and we have a motion to adjourn, there's no other business that takes place? Or do we want him to have a special meeting, we're open, go into executive session, discuss this with Ms. Romo, and be able to come out of executive session and do, maybe we still table it, maybe we vote at that time to say, okay, I want to go this way. So, thoughts?
I like the ability to take action, knowing that we don't have to take action.
And then my suggestion to the board would be that I put this exact same, effectively, this exact same agenda forth. So that if, whichever, I'll just switch up the order of it so that Mrs. Romo would be item number 3 instead of item number 4. So that way if you guys do vote in favor of Mrs. Romo, then we know that the RFP search will just be a no. But if you don't vote in favor of Mrs. Romo, then we can get the RFP process started at that meeting as well.
Thoughts? I'm good with that.
That works.
Alright.
Okay.
Any other future agenda items? Hearing none, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Alright, have a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, passes 5-0. Thank you, everybody, good night.